Okay, so since this is the first episode, I want us to cover mainly the things that you're going to need before you can become a true Floridian. I know you get told a lot of things, but it's mainly from people who just like to make fun of us from being from Florida. But if you're going to move here and you want to embrace our culture down here, then allow me to help you in understanding what it really means. Now, I wrote down a couple points here, and let me just make sure I cover them. Oh, first thing we should start with is South Florida and North Florida are not the same thing. And you could even argue that Central Florida is even different from the two as well. But here are the main differences. South Florida, that's the typical beach culture that you have in your head of what Florida's about, right? That's where all the rich millionaires live. That's where the celebrities live. That's where all the people from up north who are tired of cold weather and they decide to retire, they live in South Florida. If you're trying to avoid elderly people when you move down here, stay away from the villages. It's a wonderful community. Great people, they're very friendly. But if you don't want to be around old people, then don't go there. That's South Florida for you. Now, North Florida, the difference between that and South Florida is that North Florida is very agriculture oriented. There's a lot of Southerners down here. It's more like the South that the rest of the South is than South Florida is. I know that probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but when you're in North Florida, a lot of people say, oh, you're in lower Alabama or South Georgia. But we have our culture too. We'll cover some history of North Florida. I grew up in North Florida. We'll get into that history over the course of time, but we're not going to cover all that today. I just wanted to make a brief point about the difference between North Florida and South Florida. Another thing is hurricanes. Now, hurricanes, you hear a lot about them on the news. People freak out on the news about it. There was one famous clip a few years back where Shepard Smith was saying, if you don't get to higher ground, you are going to die, and everybody in your family is going to die. So there's a lot of fear-mongering around hurricanes. But if you're going to move to Florida, understand that what hurricanes mean to us is not what they mean to the rest of the country. Yes, you need to have your hurricane emergency supplies somewhere in your house, It'd probably be best to get you a generator and stock up on canned foods that are going to last a long time. Maybe we'll cover that on a different time. We don't have enough time to go over all of that. But yes, you want to have your emergency supplies ready somewhere. But generally speaking, when a hurricane comes to Florida, we wait to find out, is it going to be bad enough to where we really need to evacuate? And if it is, which I've had to evacuate from hurricanes before, and it doesn't happen that much in North Florida as much as it does in South Florida, but we generally wait to the last minute to see if we really have to evacuate or not. And then if we don't have to evacuate, the majority of us just ride it out. I mean, we'll have hurricane parties if the power's out. Oh well, more fun. Let's just have more fun. If, trees and stuff are all over the place, all right, guess nobody's going to work for a few days. Let's have a ball. So it's a little different for us. We've weathered the storm so many times that we're almost like a victim of Stockholm syndrome, where you beat us down enough and we get to the point where we're just like, yeah, we're best friends now. Us and hurricanes, buddy. That's kind of where we're at on that one. One of the things about being a Floridian that I think people overlook, or maybe they don't, I guess maybe everybody thinks Disney World is the center of everything in Florida.
which you might could argue that's true. But in order to be a true Floridian, I believe that you need to have at least a small love for the theme parks. And that doesn't necessarily have to be Disney World. It could easily be Universal Studios or Busch Gardens or Aquatica, or I think there's a couple other ones too. But the point is, most Floridians have a love for either Disney or Universal. I've grown up to go on both my entire life. And so over the years it's become a tradition for me. And these are a few pictures myself when I had a beard. Long story short, I figured we're going to put a Disney segment in each episode. So let's check it out. If you know me, you are fully aware that I'm a huge Disney nerd. But if you don't know me, then let me explain a little bit. A lot of people who grew up in Florida, not everyone, but I would argue most people who grew up in Florida tend to have a minor obsession with Disney World. Because to us, it's right down the road, And for me specifically, my mom worked there for a long time. Or maybe not a long time, but long enough. And so she kind of instilled into me an obsession from an early age. Now my mom passed away when I was young, so I kind of carried on that obsession as a way to stay connected to her. Now, I know there's a lot of Disney channels out there, and they provide incredible information as far as what to do when you're traveling to Disney World. What are some of the best deals on restaurants and resorts and things of that nature. So I'm not going to take it upon myself, especially for the first Disney segment, to try to explain some things that I'm sure there's hundreds of videos around that can explain to you. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this time to show you a map that was given to me by my lovely girlfriend, Amelia, also known as the Disney Darling, some of you may follow her. And if you don't, please go check her out. We post Disney stuff all the time. But she gave me this map framed that I have over here on the other side of my studio. And it's from 1971, which was the year that Disney World opened in Florida. And I figured, how about for the first segment, we'll go through all the different landmarks on that map. So, without further ado, let's go check it out. Okay, so I apologize that the audio might be a little off here. I'm not using my normal mic that I use for this podcast, but you see right here, this is a map of Walt Disney World from 1971. So let's take a look. All right, we begin with marker 1. This is, of course, the entrance from Highway 192, and it was the ticket gate. You could also deal with your hotel reservations and accommodations at that particular gate back then. Marker 2 was the Gulf Car Care Center, which I'm sure you've seen the gas stations that are on Disney property. Marker 3 is the parking lot of Walt Disney World. I guess they really only had one main parking lot back then. And of course you could catch your ride on the, what do we call those again? The trolley thing, I can't remember what they're called. I'm drawing a blank here. But in 1971, parking area is what they called it. Held 12,000 cars. Marker number 4. The main entrance. This is where you could catch the monorail, the steamboat, motor tram transportation network, which I guess is what that is. You could get information on guided tours, guest relations, public lockers, and lost and found. Marker 5, the Polynesian Resort. At that time, it was called the Polynesian Village. I'm not sure what the official name of it is now, but it was a 500-room resort hotel with dining, swimming, boating, and beach facilities, which it still has to this day. But Polynesian Resort has been there since day one. Marker number 6, the Palm Course. This is one of the main ones they had. It was a championship 18-hole, 6,410-yard par 72 golf course.
And that's it for this episode. We didn't even get to the Contemporary Resort or the one and only Magic Kingdom. So join us for the next episode and we will finish this segment. I figured I would just give you a little brief summary of opening day and throw in some random pictures to go along with it. So now, back to the show. So, before you can become a true Floridian, there's still a few more things you need to know. And I won't be able to get to all of them today because I'm kind of running out of time here. But like I said, this might be a multi-part series, so let's go ahead and do just a quick few points here. 1. If you're not familiar with what Publix is, you need to learn what a Publix is. Yeah, we have Whole Foods too, and that's fine and dandy and all, but for Floridians, Publix is a sanctuary. It's a community, so learn to appreciate it. Secondly, rain. It's probably going to rain like at least once a day. I mean, most likely it's going to rain at least once a day. And they're usually like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, sometimes an hour. It rained like a couple hours a few days ago. You got to learn to accept it. Yeah, it's annoying having to do your daily activities in the rain. I don't much enjoy it myself. But over the years, I've learned to just accept it and get over it. So you're going to have to do the same. Third, and I'll make this the last point of the day. Flip-flops and even tank tops, even though I don't really wear tank tops, but flip-flops and tank tops are not fashion statements. Okay? They're meant for comfortability. We only wear them because the tank top is a simple shirt you can just throw on and be able to go into a store, at the beach specifically. And flip-flops, I mean, it's mainly because, you got to walk across hot concrete in order to get to the beach entrance, and it's better than burning your feet, so you throw on some flip-flops. And that also applies to the store scenario too. You got to have them to go in. So no, we're not wearing them because we think they're cool. We get it. They're kind of funny looking. We're wearing them for the comfortability and the easiness that it allows for your beach life. So it's okay. You can get yourself a pair when you move here. Specifically the flip-flops I'm talking about. Tank tops are, up in the air, but you can get yourself a pair. We won't judge you because we're Floridians. And you'll find that you you kind of enjoy them anyway.
Well, you're almost ready to become a true Floridian. And for those of you that have been watching this who are already Floridians, I appreciate you tagging along this whole time. Please comment below and let me know any other points you think definitely need to be included, because we'll keep doing this as we go along. That's Melleaux, by the way. Anyway, so I appreciate you checking out all of our content, and I hope that I made it at least interesting enough for you to check out the next episode. We'll start doing some more travel vlogs, which you can check out on our Main Street Duo account, but I'll do some on this account as well. Long story short, please tune in for the next episode. Please go get some merch on melleauxmob.com, and please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. See y'all later.